Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill. I'll be your Beyond Code instructor for the evening. And tonight I've got something very simple and straightforward to share with you, which is the power of await catch. Now, you've heard of async await, but async await is ugly. This is not the exception, this is the rule. I see people giving conference talks with slides that look like this. I see whether it's junior developers or mid-level developers, tons and tons of people are writing really, really ugly async await code. So they're substituting the callback pyramid of doom or the promise chain of hell with the try catch tree of hell. So they're just substituting one problem for another. And it's not clean, it's not easy to read, it's not pretty, variables are not scoped in the right places. This is just atrocious looking code. And that's what happens when you do async await. And the reason I believe that this is happening so much is because people don't understand promises very well. So if you don't understand promises very well, it's really critically important that you understand promises before you try to move into async await, because async await is a more advanced concept than promises are. So with that said, here's an alternative written in promises. So if you don't mess with async await at all, you'll just get cleaner code. Now, granted, you still have to understand promises, but you'll get cleaner code. And you have to, no matter what you're doing, if you're building stuff in JavaScript and in Node, you need to understand promises. So here, this is a lot cleaner because the variables are in the right scope. And well, actually, in this case, there is a typo here. This should have one more line to it. This should be let results equal up here, and then await let results equal. No. This is right as is. The return shouldn't be there. That's what's missing, or what's messing it up a little bit. Anyway, but if you look at this, it's the exact same code. It's just with promises, the scope is better and the flow is better because promises allow us to have more functional looking code. When we use async await, we back away from functional code and we start to get into just, I don't know what we call the opposite of functional, but it's instead of having higher order functions that can be passed around, you're flattening things out into try catches. Anyway, so this is much better. Promises will give you cleaner code when applied well. Promises will give you cleaner code, but we can go a step further. And this is what I'm going to explain. And you can use await catch, and this becomes very elegant. The code becomes very simple. Everything is scoped very well, and it's very clean and very easy to read. So let's go through this. I'm going to start with promises. If you go through a promise, let's say that you want to get something from a database, you need to handle potential errors, and you might get an error like no record found or something like that. And then you may need to throw on that error. And if you throw on that error, then you might need to recatch it later to handle it in some particular way. So you have handle a potential error. And if it's no record found, well, that's not really an error. You just create the thing and then return what you just created, right? That's kind of what I'm doing here. And then if it's a real error, you want to rethrow it. So you've got your error handling is in two places. And that's the same thing that we see here. We've got a try catch and a try catch, and we have the error handling in two places. Here's where one set of errors is handled, and then here's where another set of errors is handled. So it's the exact same code. It's just that it doesn't read as easy. The flow isn't clear that we're going from one section of code to another section of code. We kind of have to backtrack up, read up here, follow back down, read here. So if I want to find out what's going on here, I got to go up here. Oh, wait, that's try catch. Okay, this is the caught thing. Okay, got to go up here, go down here. A little difficult. Here, it's a little bit easier because we know that we're just flowing in a downward direction. So here, if we throw, then we know that we're going to skip over the then and we're going to go to the catch. If we don't throw, then we know we're going to get to the then, and then we know we're going to skip the catch. So very simple, we read from top to bottom, and that's how we want to read. We want to be reading from top to bottom, and from top to bottom much more so than from left to right. But also, we keep things in order. Now, if we use await catch, then what we can do is we can eliminate this then block, essentially. And so we get our results right here. So we get rid of a little bit of excess code. And then our error handling is happening right here. And our result handling is happening right here. And then we do some more stuff with the results down here. Now, this was taken out of a larger example where there's some more handlers in place. But essentially, each one of these is inside of all promise functions are async functions. So you have to understand that first of all. But each one of these is inside of a function that's an async function. So whether you throw or whether you return a rejection, either way, it's getting handled the same when it bubbles up. And so this is clearly the cleanest, simplest way to approach the problem. So essentially, this is the rule of thumb. This is what I should have let out of the gate with. If you were using Async Await and you're using try-catch, you're doing it wrong. There are very few exceptions to this. There are very few exceptions to a case where it makes sense to use try-catch with Async Await. 99% of the time, it doesn't make sense. It leads to nasty, ugly code. Instead, look for ways that you can do await and then .catch and handle your errors that way. Now, sometimes you want those errors to bubble up to the next thing in line, but in those cases, you just rethrow and let it bubble up again, right? And then likewise, if you're using await, what you're doing with the .catch, you're eliminating this left to right reading where we have nested left to right, left to right, left to right. We don't want left to right. We want top to bottom. So with the .catch, we turn a couple of left to rights, which is called cyclomatic complexity, to top to bottom. So we handle the error in one small, simple container where it's going top to bottom. And then with the await, we're allowing ourselves to get rid of one left to right or cyclomatic, one area of cyclomatic complexity, because we await the desired result, the positive case right here, and then we go from top to bottom to handle it down here. So we're reducing the amount of reading and backtracking that we have to do. So hopefully you found this useful. Agree with me, disagree with me. Do you know of another pattern that you can use? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If this was useful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more videos like this, you can check in the doobly-doo. You can subscribe to the live channel, the Beyond Code channel, or my morning shower thoughts if you're interested in life, the universe, and everything. With that, I hope that you have the best night ever. Adios.